Hey guys, we are using GraphQL subscriptions right now for real-time messaging, so I can chat with other users that are online and in the same channel. So I can send a message and they don't have to refresh their screen, it just pops up over here. Now to do this, we're using the default PubSub implementation. Well, this is great for development. It is not recommended for production. This is the Apollo GraphQL page, and they say any serious production app should not be using just regular PubSub, and instead should be using either Redis or MQTT. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is walk you through setting up Redis PubSub so you're ready to do GraphQL subscriptions in production if you like to. Now before we get into that, real quick, we're going to fix a small problem we had in the last video where we would crash when changing to different pages. So here I was pushing after we created a direct message or started direct messaging someone, and the reason for that I found out was me would sometimes go undefined just for a second. So all we have to do, is here we return null if me is not defined. So if we're loading or if this is not available. Now for whatever reason, when we switch pages, me is undefined for a split second, and then it is good. I don't know why, but it is what it is, and that's how we can protect against that. So now I can click Bob4. I'm currently in hashtag general, and if I click start messaging, I see Bob4 over here. Now you notice we have a little warning messages about updating when mounting. That's because if we come back to our modal over here, we have this stuff here. So if I get rid of the on close and stuff, we don't need it because we're going to be re-rendering the page anyway, and those components get unmounted. Okay, so now I can click on this, and let's say I want to see Bob2 and Bob4, start messaging them. I pop over there to that screen. And I can even do this with someone I've never messaged before. So Bob3 I've never messaged. So come over here, start messaging Bob3. We pop up and we're like, hey Bob3. So there you go. That's all we need to do to fix that. If you know why this is going undefined, I'd love to know. I'm curious. I'm not sure why, because it should just grab it from the cache, which it does do after another render. But I'm not sure why there's a middle render where it's undefined. But anyway, I want to also get rid of this little warning message we have right here. Someone gave a comment on how to get rid of this, so thank you. We just have to go to our add channel modal, and instead of using value for this checkbox, they use the prop called checked. So give that a refresh and that error should go away. And now we're ready to start setting up Redis. Yep, cool, so that's good. And if I open this, cool. So to get this set up, first you need to have Redis installed on your computer. So if you don't, come over to redis.io and install it. You're going to want the server itself, and I have the CLI if you want to grab the CLI too. And yeah, so make sure you install that and we can get started. Next we'll be using this package over here, GraphQL Redis subscriptions. And so if you want to make sure you have Redis installed, you can just come over here and just say Redis CLI. You have to first start your server. So if you did Redis server, you can run Redis server like this. I already have mine running because I downloaded it with Homebrew and I said brew services start Redis, so I have it running in the background. So either of those work. And then once you have it started up, we'll clear this, you can do Redis CLI. And if you're able to connect and you see this, that means you're good to go. And you can just ping it to make sure it's working. And if you see Pong there, everything's good. So once you have Redis installed and you're at this screen with me, you can go ahead and get started. Take note of what this is and this guy, because we're going to need those in a second. Now on your server, we need to install this guy, our GraphQL Redis subscriptions. So I'm just going to copy that, and yarn it. So yarn add, and then all we have to do is come on over to our server and change our PubSub implementation. So we have a pubsub.js file. Right now we're grabbing PubSub from GraphQL subscriptions. Instead of doing that, we're going to be using this right here, GraphQL Redis subscriptions. Now this is the, for development they said you could just use this, but for production they recommend passing in your own Redis object. So notice how they create a new Redis object for you here. Using the IO Redis library. By default, I believe they do that under the hood anyway, so we're just going to use this one. But if you were putting this into production, make sure you do switch over to using this. But I believe it's roughly the same thing, but if you wanted to do another Redis client, maybe that's why they use this option. So paste this in here and we can delete what we have before. So we're importing the Redis PubSub and we're going to export it too. So export default, and then here our domain name. Oops. That's just what you saw over here. So 127 this thingy, and then their port number is this thing. So that's mine, and it'll probably be the same for you. And then here is just the retry strategy. I'm just going to keep the default one and give that a save and add a comma there. And let's see what we got going wrong. Did I delete one too many things? Nope. I feel like something is missing. Connection strat. Alright, I'm just going to try reformatting this. Why is it getting an error? Okay, so this lines up here. Oh, we have one too many. There we go. And get rid of the dangling comma. Cool. So now we're good. We don't actually have to make any other changes. Let's make sure this thing restarts. Awesome. Notice we don't have to make any changes to how we did subscriptions before. It's just going to start using Redis and we're good. So come back over here. Let's just refresh both of these for good measure. And we don't see any errors here, so let's go back to general and chat. This message is subbed by Redis. And bam, Bob2 over here is seeing our message. And we can just message all we want now. So now we're serving these subscriptions using Redis instead of the default PubSub implementation. Awesome. So that's it for this video, guys. As you can see, it's actually quite easy to set up with Redis, which is really nice. So you don't have to change a lot of your code and you're ready for production subscriptions. So that is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching.